My name is LENCHO. I am a farmer. I live with my family in a small house. Our house is on top of a hill. From our house we can see the whole valley. The valley is our life. It is where we grow our corn. We depend on the harvest to feed our family. This year the cornfields look beautiful. The stalks were strong and tall. They were heavy with plump kernels. We were expecting a bountiful harvest. It had rained just enough. The sun was shining brightly. My heart was full of hope. We would have plenty to eat. We could even sell some corn and buy new clothes. My sons worked hard in the fields with me. They were excited too. We sang songs as we worked. We talked about all the things we would do after the harvest. We were happy. We were grateful for the good weather and the fertile land. One day, dark clouds gathered in the sky. The wind began to blow fiercely. Big drops of rain started to fall. At first I was happy. I thought the rain would be good for the corn, but then the rain turned into hailstones. The hailstones were large and heavy. They fell from the sky like rocks. The sound of the hailstones hitting the roof was deafening. We huddled inside our house. We were scared. The storm raged on for what seemed like hours. When it finally stopped, everything was white. It looked like snow had fallen. We ran out to the fields. Our hearts sank. The hailstones had destroyed everything. The corn stalks were broken and flattened. The ground was littered with hailstones and shredded leaves. Our beautiful cornfield was ruined. I felt a deep despair. We had lost everything. We had no food. We had no money. How would we survive? I sat down on a rock in the middle of the ruined field. I closed my eyes. I thought of my children. They would go hungry. Then I thought of God. God sees everything, I told myself. He would help us. He wouldn't let us starve. I decided to write a letter to God. I didn't know how to send it, but I knew God would receive it. I wrote about the hailstorm. I asked God for help. I asked him for 100 pesos. That would be enough to buy food and seeds for the next planting. I put the letter in an envelope. I wrote to God on the front. I walked to town and dropped the letter in the mailbox. I felt a sense of relief. I knew God would help us. My faith was strong. I returned home feeling hopeful. The next day I went back to town. I went straight to the post office. I waited eagerly for the postman. I wanted to see if he had a reply from God. Finally, the postman arrived. He was carrying a heavy bag. He smiled when he saw me. "LENCHO, you have a letter," he said, handing it to me. I grabbed the letter. It was addressed to me. It had a stamp on it. It even said, "Heaven" in the return address. I was so happy. I knew God had answered my prayers. I ripped open the envelope and pulled out the money. I counted it. There was only 70 pesos. 70, not 100. Anger filled me. The post office workers were thieves. They had stolen 30 pesos from God. I went back to the counter. I grabbed another piece of paper. I wrote another letter to God. This time, I complained about the dishonest post office workers. I asked God to send the rest of the money directly to me. I didn't trust the post office anymore. I left the post office feeling angry and betrayed, but deep down, my faith in God remained unshaken. He had answered my letter, hadn't he? He would set things right. I was sure of it.